no, not the ballerina dancing little vampire girl. This is a different Abigail. And how different? Let's see. Let's find out here with the IMDb plot. In 1976, a troubled teen befriends her bullied neighbor, seeking revenge on his tormentors, but her obsession turns deadly. All right, so yeah, this is a different Abigail here. We're not talking um, the ballerina dancing vampire one that a lot of you guys just recently saw. This is a different one. She certainly proves to be deadly in her own right, and I'll talk about that soon. But yeah, this is not the same. This is a different one. So I do have a review of that, so you can search that out here on the channel or on the blog. But this is going to be a different Abigail, and apparently this one is listed here in IMDb as 2023. So I guess this one came out first. So we'll say that as well. Why I'm doing this review? Well, yeah, obviously to confuse you guys, to see you guys say, "Oh, look, Abigail," and click on that and be like, "Hey, wait a minute, this is not that." Yeah, obviously that. I had to do that. Sorry. Like I said, I did do that already, so you can search that out. But besides that, I stumbled upon this one on, I believe, Tubi. I think it might be on Amazon as well. But I had seen this one, at least the picture of it, whatever, and I kind of bypassed it before. And then finally I'm like, okay, what the hell? Like I told you guys in other reviews, I'm just scrolling through Tubi trying to find, movies to watch, movies that I like, movies that I actually can sit through from beginning to end. And obviously I'm here reviewing this one, so I did make it through the end of this one, okay. So yeah, so I gave this one a chance, and here I am. So, let's see what I have to say here. So yeah, we're going back a little bit, 1976, as is mentioned there, different times, different place. Still some of the same stuff, bullying going on. That's a theme here. At the beginning of the movie, it's going to kind of open up in a very typical slasher film way. You're going to have two people here, a couple kind of pulled off in this area here in their van, with maybe some intention there to have a little good time here. But of course, the guy's got to get out of the car and go over to the bushes, go to the bathroom, and so forth, leaving a chance for the slasher to come and kill the girl, and then kill him as well. So you're gonna get that kind of opening and so forth, and you're like, what does that have to do with this movie? Well, maybe we'll eventually find out. Soon enough, we're going to meet Abigail. Obviously, she has a lot going on in her life, but she's now moved, and you'll find out a little bit more about her, as the movie goes on. But she's kind of moved to this new home here with her mom, just her mom. Her dad is no longer with them. And obviously there's some kind of incident that happened with the dad or whatever, so they're kind of trying to get away from him and so forth. So now they're living here in a new home, and she's going to a new school now, and early on kind of gets introduced to the neighbor. And I should mention, because it kind of is a little bit of importance here, it is 1976, a little bit of a different time. But she's a young white woman, girl, and she gets introduced to her neighbors. Also a mother who's also living alone, but this family here is black, and the young boy there is black as well. And I mentioned that solely because he does get picked on, and they do reference maybe maybe a little bit of racial tension there going on as well, because the mom kind of stumbles in with the local sheriff, a local cop there, and he doesn't exactly treat the boy the greatest and so forth. And there's maybe another hint or two of maybe some racism going on there as well. So that's the reason I kind of point that out. So obviously you're going to have here Abigail, who's going to start kind of talking with the boy, trying to get, to know him, even though he's not as receptive at first. He obviously has issues, obviously getting picked on, so he's kind of like, I don't know, I don't know about, this girl, why is she kind of trying to hang around me and so forth. But regardless, he does finally kind of give in a little bit to her and open up a little bit to her. And, as a little bit of time goes on, you're going to kind of see them become a little bit closer and friend-wise. And then maybe a little bit more eventually later on. Also in the process, like it's mentioned there in the summary, he's going to get picked on. But apparently these bullies, their time is going to come because Abigail ain't having it. Yeah, she's shorter than him and shorter than the guys here, but she's definitely ain't taking no shit from nobody, and is going to take it right back to the bullies here. And in turn, she kind of is encouraging the young man here to kind of stick up for himself. She's sticking up for him, but to try to kind of get it out of him. Which is kind of hard to do because, you can see they do it pretty well. You're going to see some frustration in him and see the anger in him, and he wants to take it out. But he also has like this good side, and he just doesn't want to. He just can't. He's just not as open to it as she is. So you're going to see that as we find out a little bit more about Abigail as this goes on, that, maybe there is something wrong with her. Maybe, like I said, there's stuff that happened in her past to why they had to move and why they're in a new place now. They don't go hugely into specifics, but they're going to give you a little here and there. So you're going to find out, she does have some issues and some things going on there, obviously. She also has some anger she wants to release. And unlike the boy, she is free to express her anger upon others. So there's that. As the movie goes on, it'll get a little bit more intense. Maybe some people are going to die. And then there's some twists and turns, which I'm going to leave for you guys to see. This is, even though it said 2023, I think it's probably going to be a fairly new movie to most of you. Maybe some of you, maybe you're watching this, have seen it. But I'll kind of leave, some things for you guys to see. I'm not going to get into the specifics there of what happens at the end. So as for the movie itself, I will admit early on, I was as I'm watching it, I have my finger on that button. Am I going to turn this off or not? I will say that there are some rough moments there. It does get off to a little bit of a slow start before they really kind of, obviously the beginning kind of gives you that slasher kind of beginning. So, I had hopes. I was a little confused because I actually did read the summary before I watched it. So I was confused, what that had to do with what I was expecting to happen in the movie. Like I said, that will sort itself out at a certain point in the movie. But, so that kind of held me, that definitely kind of held me because I was really curious to see, what was that. I had some thoughts about what was going on there. So, that was one of the things that kind of kept me into it. But yeah, it's a little bit of a slow start there. There's a lot of going on, setting things up and going through the boy getting introduced to her and, that kind of fill out process. And, even when he's kind of first bullied and so forth, there's not a lot of horror going on there and so forth. So, it was a little bit testing my patience. I'm not going to say, I was totally in love with some of the acting and so forth as well. So, my finger definitely was on that button to turn it off and move on. But, I let it roll, probably again, largely because of that opening scene, and I wanted to see what that had to go. And I was kind of, as it kind of went on, I kind of bypassed some of the stuff that I wasn't liking. It was kind of like, I want to see, exactly, where this is going, how this is going to play off. Like I said, the more it went on, the more I think, at a certain point, it kind of got me to, okay, I'm not turning this off. I want to see where it's going as as you kind of see Abigail definitely be a little bit more disturbed than you might have thought, and kind of push the buttons a little bit more and maybe become a little bit more extreme, meaning it started to get into the horror realm a little bit more. It was definitely easier to watch and whatever. I will then say the back end of the movie it's going to have some more bloodiness to it. It is finally going to hit its stretch of horror, and there are going to be some twists and turns for you guys. And I think mostly why I'm here, talking about this movie is some of those twists and turns, and definitely enjoyed what they eventually did there. It is going to hit a segment where they kind of rewind and go back and show you certain things that happened in the movie to kind of maybe fill in some blanks about what happened. They're going to, like I said, there's going to be, a moment where something happens and you're kind of like, why is this happening? You're not really sure. But then later on in the movie, you're going to find out, what, the reasoning behind. Like I said, it's going to be one of those movies, kind of like Saw, where it kind of goes back and kind of fills in, certain things that happened. That's going to happen for you. And I think at that point, I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, I like what they did here. Okay, I like that. That explains it, because it had me kind of thinking one thing. And, had that been that thing, I think I would have been satisfied, but also kind of been like, well, how did that happen exactly? I would have been, unless they made it really clear, I'd have been kind of maybe, complaining, did this really happen? Could this really happen or not? But because of the way they did it, I was like, okay, this makes sense. I like what they did here. And I liked, at the end, I thought it was, kind of fun, way they kind of wrapped it up, and interesting there. And I think they did a fairly good job of keeping this big twist from you. Maybe I was asleep at the wheel. Maybe you guys figured it out earlier than I did. But I liked it. I liked that. So, so while early on, a little bit of a struggle there, but I'm glad I hung in there. I really liked what they did at the end there, and how they wrapped everything up, and where they left it going. The end of it. So while you probably have to sit through some, not a whole lot of horror, it will finally get to some horror at the end. And like I said, I think probably the most enjoyable thing here is the big reveal and the big twist of what is happening, and then how that kind of plays out. It was a little bit, not only are they showing you the big twist and whatever, I think they had a little bit of a good fun scene there with the end, and to just kind of up the level of craziness here, and to show just how crazy she is and so forth. So I did like that. So with that, I'm going to give this one 2.5 pools of blood, right down the middle. Kind of because, I'd say, the acting overall was still a little iffy for me here and there. Maybe, it got off to a slow start. There is some to sit through, getting through them getting introduced and whatever. And let me see if it says, no, it was, no. Oh, it doesn't show, no, I don't see how long it is here. I don't remember how long it was, but yeah, I don't know, the beginning part just seemed a little long there. With getting their introduction, and even when he kind of first gets bullied, it's a lot to get through before things kind of start getting to the horror. You start kind of getting in that direction. So kind of because of that, we're going down the middle here, a tale of maybe a first half, second half here. Definitely enjoyed the way they ended. So I'm glad I hung in there and sat through it here. So with that, again, this is on Tubi, so I hope you guys, if you kind of scroll through it and kind of catch it, no, it's not the vampire movie that maybe some of you still haven't seen and want to see, but definitely different kind of movie here. But if you're looking for something on Tubi to watch, hopefully you'll sit through this one and enjoy at least the ending and the big twist here, as I did. So again, that's going to be 2.5 pools of blood. Out of 5. So, Horrors Warrior Reviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all of my reviews, written and video. Of course, lots of video for a while now, so you can like, subscribe, and do everything else that everybody wants to do here on YouTube. But if not, it is truly okay. I understand people not wanting to like and follow and subscribe everything, but I thank you for your time regardless. Twitter, Facebook information down below as well. Feel free to reach out to me there. Talk about this movie. Maybe you guys have seen it. Maybe you liked the twist. Maybe you didn't. And feel free to reach out with anything you want me to review there as well. And also in the comment section as well, if you guys have seen this, you liked it, did not like it, feel free to comment there. And certainly if you have any other recommendations on Tubi for me, I would definitely be interested to know what you guys are watching, what you guys have liked, something maybe I can catch and hopefully enjoy and hopefully review. Yeah. So with that, I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.